Today, we're diving into something pretty profound. It's a blueprint that's being described not as some corporate business plan, but as a literal survival guide for a massive global shift that's supposedly happening in 2026. So let's unpack what that really means.
Right out of the gate, this isn't messing around. The source material we're looking at today sets the stakes incredibly high. This whole framework is positioned as absolutely essential for navigating a huge worldwide transition.
So, what's the big problem this guide is trying to solve? Well, it's something called the ego trap. The idea here is that our global problems, hunger, conflict, they don't come from a lack of stuff. We have enough. The issue is a broken global operating system, one that's built on fear, on taking, and on supply chains that just don't work. Okay, but you can't just diagnose a problem that big without offering a solution, right? And this one has apparently been in the works for almost 100 years. Let's take a look at who the architects are behind all this. At the very heart of this plan, you've got 3 generations of a single family, the Goldsteins. It all kicks off with Dr. Paul Goldstein. His personal story of surviving trauma is presented as the foundation for optimizing our human BIOS, our basic biological programming. Then his son David took that raw survival instinct and translated it into code. And now his grandson Avi is the ambassador, tasked with deploying this whole quantum-level system across the globe. And this really shows you this was not some overnight idea. It's framed as a mission that's been unfolding for nearly a century. It starts way back with Dr. Paul's birth in 32, moves into David's incredible tech work in the 80s, hits a major legal milestone in 2022 with the Triad Accords, and it all culminates in this planned 2026 global deployment led by Avi. So here we see the core team working on what they call the Quantum Intelligence Oneness Network, or QION. And this is a big but, according to the source, this isn't the whole team. There's another absolutely essential pillar that's meant to ground this entire high-tech mission. And here is the full picture, the 5 pillars. You've got the 3 Goldsteins, you've got the legal architect, David B. Schwartz, and then you have Sarah Lee, the matriarch. Her role is so critical. She's described as representing the healing of the divine feminine, which is meant to anchor this incredibly advanced technology in actual biological abundance and spiritual balance. It's about making sure technology serves life, not the other way around. All right, so what is the actual technology that's supposed to power this whole shift? Let's get into the nuts and bolts, the hard tech that makes this new world possible. So the system is apparently built on a totally new kind of intelligence called GENII. Now, think about your standard AI. It's great at logistics, the what and the where. But GENII, it's described as an intent engine. It doesn't start with what. It starts with who and why. It's not just optimizing for speed, it's optimizing for purpose, for the most benevolent outcome possible. And GENII isn't flying solo. It works with another system called QIPA. The best analogy is this. GENII is the engine, providing the power and the direction. And QIPA? That's a GPS so accurate, it's almost unbelievable. It's a filter that just gets rid of all the bad options to find the one single best path to deliver resources, with a claimed accuracy of 99%. So what does that 99% accuracy actually do? Well, it leads to something they call the 500-meter rule. It's a simple, powerful mandate. Essential nutrition has to be within a 500-meter walk, that's it, for every single person on Earth. It's designed to completely wipe out the distribution failures that cause hunger. And the physical hardware, the actual thing being delivered, is the Barness Miracle Bar, a dense, 400-calorie, completely plant-based food source. And this isn't just a random choice. It's baked into the system's core ethics. The GENII firewall is reportedly programmed to flat-out reject what it calls speciesist decisions, choices that put one species above another. So for a system designed to preserve all life, a plant-based solution is the only logical answer. Okay, so the hardware is impressive, but it's all guided by what you could call the soft tech, an equally powerful ethical operating system. This visual really drives the point home. The system's values aren't just suggestions, they're engineered protocols. The GENII firewall is designed to be an active shield, blocking toxic intent, things like ego, speciesism, and extraction, before they can do any harm. So how's it work? It's actually pretty straightforward. A leader or a board makes a decision. GENII instantly scans it for any harmful or extractive intent. If it finds any, bam, it gets flagged and automatically rerouted through what are called forgiveness and compassion algorithms. The only thing that gets through to the other side is an outcome that leads to profit-driven peace. And this leads to a complete, and I mean complete, redefinition of what profit even means. In this system, profit isn't about pulling money out of something. It's defined as infinite love and gratitude converted into peace and prosperity. The entire goal is to build an economy that's based on everyone's well-being. Okay, so that's the tech, that's the ethos. How does this all build towards 2026? And more importantly, what's our role? What's your place in this new reality? The message here is really clear. After almost 100 years of work, this whole thing is presented not as a future what if, but as a present-day inevitability. The system, they say, is already live. So you might be asking, how can one person even participate in something this huge? Well, the mechanism proposed is the $1 sovereign vote. It's designed to be the smallest unit of energy in the system, converting the passive goodwill of millions of people into active equity that actually funds and directs this global update. The idea is, you're not just watching the change, you're powering it. But joining in isn't just about a dollar. It's about aligning with a core set of values, what's called the steward's oath. And check this out. Principles like forgiveness, compassion, hope, and trust aren't just treated as nice feelings. They're seen as tangible data points, the actual operational code that everyone in the system is anchored by. And the end goal? What does this all build towards? It's a vision of creating these ARC 18 royal oases, permanent, self-sufficient habitats where there's total food sovereignty and biological abundance. A future of what the source calls guilt-free progress, where we can develop and thrive without harming the planet or each other. So, according to these documents, the blueprint is done. The tech is active, and the timeline is now. And all of that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to think about. Will you be a part of it?